together project management introduction. So a couple of weeks ago, maybe 4 weeks ago, we talked about why project management is important to us. Then 2 weeks ago, we find a gap between faculty presentation to talk about a SMART goal. Okay? So today we're going to talk about 3 other tools that's important for your project to be successful. So if you go to different groups, some group, they are very organized, they get things done, everyone knows what each one needs to do. The other group is, oh, I have no idea what's going on. We haven't met, we don't have a goal, we couldn't decide what to do, I don't even know who I am a member, I really hate that guy. The difference could be you are not using the right tool. And often, if you use the right tool to solve a lot of those problems. So we're going to talk about these tools. So I updated. So most of it we have seen. I want to go to the very end of this and talk about the tools. Talk about the SMART goal. Your team should have, when you set the team goal, you should really consider this. Okay, so these are the key tools to have a successful project. The first one we already talked about, the SMART goal. When you set something, say we need to produce this, the goal should be SMART. Okay? Specific, measurable, agreed upon, realistic, and time frame. So you know exactly what to finish on. If you're missing any part of that, you'll be in trouble. So even those could be trivial. When you meet, when you decide, you need to make sure your goal is clear. The second part I want to talk about today is the effective meeting. Okay, we kind of go upon that a little bit. One, if you want to run a successful meeting or effective meeting, what are the major things you have to do? Having everyone participate. Great. Good. Good. Aaron?
Yes.
What else? Everyone participate. That's all it takes?
I say no, everybody needs to be equal and do equal.
Okay, participate, but have made sure everyone have some equal voice.
Right.
Bernard? Bernard.
Have an agenda.
Good. That's number one. If you don't have an agenda, you don't even know where to start and where to end. So, good. So let's take a look at kind of my kind of very simple thing you have to follow. Okay? I try to make it as simple as possible. I have a few teams send me their meeting agenda. That looks great. You don't have to send it to me, but I encourage you to send it to me. It will be a good idea for me to know. So first, if you decide you need a meeting, if it's one-way information you want everyone to know, an email may be okay. When do we need a meeting? A meeting is expensive. You need to gather everyone. You need to arrange agenda. You need to spend an hour. You need to small talk. You need to say hi. You need to tell a joke to start. A lot of work. So if you don't have to have a meeting, then you shouldn't. But meeting is important in communication. Other than tell people what to do, what's the goal? What is going on in the meeting? Make it almost indispensable in the collaboration. However, why do you want to call a meeting?
Well, you should only call a meeting if there's actually something that needs to be discussed and done, because
that's right. You need to discuss. There is no conclusion. You need to come together and make decision together. That usually is number one issue. What's number two? Why do you want to call a meeting? Ricardo, when you want to call a meeting, people ask you, why do you need a meeting? Typically, what's going on in the meeting make it necessary? Do you have to have a meeting? Can you complete a project without a meeting?
Of course, we have to work. I mean, if we have a project, we have to work on team and do with the company.
So the number one is to make decision collectively. The second one, probably more important, is to build the team, the trust, knowing the face, knowing the person. is important. Aaron?
Another reason why I might call a meeting is if something significant changes, like if there's something that's come up, like that's an emergency that needs to be taken care of now.
Sometimes you run a meeting, you want to make sure. Now, when you send an email, you don't know if the people read it, right? Sometimes in a meeting, you can make sure, say, Michael, do you agree with that? And he will say yes or no, or look at me like a deer at night. Then I know he didn't know, so I can make sure he knows. So if you have crucial information you want everyone to know, a meeting is still one way to make sure. The email is so easy to hit that delete, right? Or you can blame Google. Say, oh, I never received. So the three things: make a decision, build a team chemistry, and know each other as a person. And the third one is crucial decision or crucial information. You want to make sure everyone actually get it. So so let's say you decide to have a meeting. I think that even people complain about meeting, but meeting or collaboration are done. So minimize the meeting, but you have to have a meeting. The second one is how to organize the meeting. Simple thing to do is make sure who should be there, exactly what location, and what time, and have agenda, even a draft agenda sent out. Okay, those things sound simple. I often receive a meeting request that just asks me to say, please be 2 o'clock, meet with us. I said, wait, where? Why am I there? Should I prepare? So these are the simple things when you want to organize a meeting. On that agenda, you should have what are the crucial information on the agenda. Let me see, I'm going to call upon people that doesn't have a name tag. Where are you going to be? That's right. Time, location, and what else?
Who should be there?
Yeah, who are required to be there, who are optional. Right? So at least have the three things on the top. And then you probably have to have a name. So this is team meeting for CST 300, or this is planning a beer party. Right? People know what kind of organization calling for the meeting. Then you have agenda item. Okay? So if you don't have every of those components, you won't have an effective meeting. So simple, right? But somehow people they don't do it. They say, let's meet. And then the conclusion of that meeting is, let's meet again. And that will, other people will be impacted, or someone might sue you, then you need to put down who said what, what's the vote, who voted for what. But most of our project meeting will be pretty simple. You only have to write down the decision. For example, decision is the red shirt. What's your name? What's your name?
Alice.
Alice. Alice is going to help us to decide the camera we use. So some conclusion you want everyone to remember, you need to put it down. You don't have to discuss. You don't have to write down, how do we reach that conclusion, but at least you have the conclusion, say, we decided this is topic, or we decided to meet this time, and who is going to be responsible for what type. Right? You need to have that in written form. Younger people like you have a mindset, say, oh, that's boring, that's tedious. We don't have to write it down. I remember everything. And when you get old, you keep that habit, then you'll find out half of the thing you say, I will remember, you don't remember. So having a habit of writing it down is crucial. So write it down. So when people, if you run the meeting, have a clear agenda and have a clear conclusion in an email or shared Google Doc, that is half of the effort. So no one will come to the next meeting and say, oh, I should do that? How did that happen? It's written in shared minutes. Okay? On time. Not only is it on time to start, it's on time to end. So people know, for example, Zach's meetings always start on time. Then next time Zach calls a meeting, people know they won't waste 15 minutes coming on time and wait for other people, because he has a trademark, is running things precisely. Then the meeting will be much more effective. People will come. So start and end on time is some discipline you have to have. What's the idea beings? Why do you need that? Anyone?
You might be able to bring the
That's close. It's like this. We are in a meeting discussing, for example, our video project. And Jeremy say, you know, we should have a party on Sunday morning. We should go for hiking in Big Sur. You as the moderator or the chair, you don't want to say, shut up, this is not, you say, okay, that's a good idea, but let's put it on this idea being, so party Sunday morning. Then you can, so he feel, he's acknowledged, you can go back to the meeting. Otherwise, easily you can go to 10 different directions. So this is to kind of have a written down on the board, idea being, can keep interesting idea written down, but you don't have to take a kind of excursion, spend another half an hour deciding why are we going to have a party. So idea being is a way to recognize interesting idea, put it aside, we can come back to it. Okay, those idea means. Ground rules. Okay. Ground rules, we mentioned that everyone should participate. That's why I want everyone's name there so I can call upon. And that's why I want you to know your team members so you can address and say, Andrew, let other people have opportunity to talk. Or you can call upon, say, Trevor, you haven't spoken, what do you think? So a set of ground rules, I will show you some simple ground rule ways. Okay. Have fun. So people are emotional beings. If you welcome them, you like them, you occasionally throw some joke at them, that lubricates a conversation. If you make it too business-like, people kind of drag them. So I've met a lot of very powerful leaders, including our president or provost. They almost always start a meeting with telling a joke or two of their own. And that kind of get the flow going and then make people feel comfortable. So that's an art, but having fun. So what's the easiest way to have fun in a meeting? Pick on someone weak? No. Then you bring a little food, or that's why often you have pizza, or you have food together, you have a coffee together. That people feel kind of nice to be in a meeting. So bring food or start a meeting with some kind of a interesting story. It's important. Okay. And at the end, if you are the chair, okay, hopefully you will rotate a chair or you pick a chair. You need to, okay, thank you everyone. Today we've run through this agenda item. These are the decisions we have made, we have arrived. These are the distribution of tasks that you promised to do. Is that okay, everyone? People say, okay. So you need to summarize. You think people remember, they don't. So you need to summarize it. So you always reserve about 5% of your time. Let's say if you have kind of 1 hour meeting, you need to reserve 5% of that is 3 minutes, 4 minutes. You don't want to say, okay, we're done, go away. You want to stop, have a couple of minutes, summarize, thank everyone participate. You want to especially thank those people, say prepare food or do the meeting minutes. Acknowledge, say, Ernest, thank you, that's a great idea, or Nick, thank you for keeping notes, or